Hey everyone, this is Olay Shorunke from Laddering Your Success, and you're listening to the LYS Podcast.
All right. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls all over the world. Welcome all to another episode of EduSteps, powered by Laddering Your Success. As always, I'm your good friend, Olay Shorunke, here with my good friend, Festus Amoye. Festus, how you doing today, bud?
I'm very good, man. Very good. I'm well rested now. Normally I'm dragging, but a couple naps will change your life, man.
Boy, will they ever.
It's interesting too, because I was just hearing this podcast, the guy was talking about weight loss, and he was like, people who struggle with weight loss usually don't sleep well. And so I'm like, man, if that's me, this dude talking to me. So I'm good.
Yeah, man. I was talking with brother Mr. Andre from yesterday, and he was talking about I'm gonna mess up these letters, but the BDNF, which is the protein. I know, I'm probably messing it up. It's neuro something. It was this protein, this amino acid that's produced from your body, and it happens when you exercise, when you sleep. Is when your body builds that protein up. And just talking about how important it is, because ever since I left the classroom, I've had a whole bunch of stubborn belly fat, and I'm sure there's a correlation between that and the amount of sleep that I get, because my Fitbit's always telling me you got 5 hours, and it's like, that's not good. You know what I mean? So it's cute,
my goodness, man.
Yeah. And also we got the good doctor on, the PhD in training, the one, the only, smooth. Hey, what did Festus used to say? Slicker than a can of oil. Good friend, Dr. Jamar Crawford. Now, we say doctor, we're calling it, we're speaking it into existence. But he's our good friend. He's such an awesome brother. Jamar Crawford, how you doing today, sir?
I'm doing all right. Just happy to be here with you guys. Hopefully, I can fix all my tech issues so I can get on screen.
No worries. The voice is good enough. Because your words are always profound, man. So just thank you as always for being here with us. So let's jump right into it. Folks, today we're going to be talking about goal setting strategies for academic success. All right, we're talking about goal setting strategies for academic success. We're going to be getting into tips and techniques for setting achievable academic goals, right? And so I want to start off with a story. When I was in high school, I had an awesome chemistry teacher by the name of Miss Santos. Shout out to Miss Santos. Shout out to Elsik High School. When I was in high school, I played football, and I was struggling in her class. I was struggling to pass her class. And the reason why I love Miss Santos is I came to her and I said, hey, Miss Santos, I'm having trouble in your class. Can I come early to get some extra help in your class? And at the time I was like, yo, I'm feeling good in myself, because I'm like, hey, look at me, I'm a junior, and I'm like taking the, I'm taking it upon myself, right? I'm taking the responsibility to go to the teacher and be like, hey, I want to help, in this class or whatever. So I'm feeling proud of myself. I'm like, pat on the back, Olay. She was like, no, why would I help you? You don't listen in class when you're here, so now I have to come early because you don't want to listen in the given time that you have? No, I'm not going to come early because you can't pay, because you're playing with your friends in my class. No. And I was like, I'm gonna try it. So I was like, cool. Take what she said, work with it. So I started to pay attention in class. I started, leaving my friend, leave me alone. I'm trying to listen. And so it was so confusing. I still struggle with it. And so I said, hey, Ms. Santos, I'm listening in your class and it's still hard. And so I finally wore her down, and she was like, okay, all right. And I, as working as a teacher, I understood it, because high school starts early. High school starts at 7:30 is when we started class. And so if you want to have a little time for yourself, you have to get there at 6:30 just to give yourself some time. And so she took time out, and she worked with me, because I think at the time we were doing that, disodium phosphate. You had to name the different the compound names, right? Oh boy. And so you had to get all the prefixes, the tetra, the tri, all this other stuff. And so she broke it down for me, and it helped. It worked. And so I said I gave that story just to give us an idea of a goal, right? Of coming up with a plan for academic success. Now, granted, I did mine like about 3 months, 2-3 months after the school year started. If I could go back, obviously I'd have goals from the beginning of the year, so I'd be able to go back and look at those goals to see, just to give myself a guide as we're moving on, right? But the first thing I wanted to talk about is what is an academic goal, right? A lot of us, when we're going in, whether you're in middle school, high school, you say, my academic goal is to pass. I just want to make it out. I came in this grade, so when I leave, I want to be at the next number grade up, right? So for example, if I'm 7th grade, by the time May, June comes, I want to be going to 8th grade, right? But I think we can do a little bit better. I think we can go a little bit deeper, right? If you look at the grades you had at your last report card, if you were somewhere around, in some of your classes, was a low 70, right? Like a 74 or something, moving up 76, 77, 78, maybe we can try and bring those goals up, just bring those grades up a little bit more, right? So that's what we talk about when it comes to an academic goal. Also, what you're being taught, right? One thing that a lot of people don't realize is if you go on a website for any school district, and this is that thing that a lot of kids feel like, why should I be doing this? I'm in the 7th grade, right? But if your favorite game has a new update, every aspect of the update that's going to be in there. Why not so much more for your education, right? Not just this year, but for your life. You can go on websites and you can actually see exactly what you're going to be learning about in the school year. Not last year, but the year before that, I had a kid who loved social studies. And this kid would just watch nothing but TED Talk videos on history. He would watch National Geographic videos about historical figures. So I'd be getting ready to teach something, and I would just say, hey, you come up here, talk to your classmates. Not because I was tired, but because he was so passionate about history. And I love, even in the 5th grade, this kid would find parallels in history and compare them to certain situations that we are going through today in history. And I thought that was just awesome. So that's what we mean when it comes to academic goals. You can go on that website, on the school website, and you can see exactly what you're going to be learning in every class subject that teachers are required to by the state to teach you. This is how you can start to come up with your academic goals, right? Festus, anything you want to drop in when it comes to like academic goals and what exactly is an academic goal? Because it can be so many things for so many different people.
Yeah, I think that is like the big part of where to start, because like so often, students, their minds are divorced from the system, from the education system. And so it's like academic what, you know what I'm saying? And so I would say start by just knowing what you want to accomplish in life, right? So if you want to accomplish something in life, and we talk about this in the Laddering Success book, you want to accomplish something in life, that is part of what's called a discipline, right? So math, science, social studies, ELA, all those different types of things. And just like the example that you gave, Olay, a student who loves history, the thing is, what do they want to accomplish with the history? You just want to be on Jeopardy or what, you know what I'm saying? Like you got to know what you want to accomplish with that. And then that gives you an avenue by which you could approach the educators to actually set goals. Like, hey man, I really love history. Can you tell me about a job that I could do with history? Oh yeah, there's historians, there's librarians, there's, right, all these different types of things, right? That even just records keeping, you know what I mean? Records keeping is a big part of history, keeping up history. And there's so many organizations, people who write autobiographies, people who do movies based off of autobiographies. It's so much involved in storytelling and all those different types of dynamics. And so if you understand that's what you want to accomplish, then, as a student, you could ask your teacher and say, hey, look, Mr. Such and such, Mr. Such and such, person such and such, I would like to accomplish X, Y, Z. Now you can set some goals, right? So for example, if you, and I'll take kind of a bit of what I was saying earlier, if you're a history buff and you want to do historically accurate movies, right? Now you could say, oh, you definitely want to pay attention during the Civil War era. You definitely want to pay attention through this era, right? And then you could set those goals. Now, the big thing for most students is there's so much stuff that, you know, they're quote unquote forcing you to learn that you don't really want to know. And then that becomes a struggle. Well, I think that's where exactly what you said, Olay, comes into play, where, you know, you want to go beyond, like, I'm just here to pass, right? You know, Marshawn Lynch, I'm just here so I don't get fined. You know what I'm saying? Like, you want to be able to go past that level and say, hey, look, I'm here because I want to become X, Y, Z, and I'm going to really focus on, you know, A, B, C, and I'm going to excel in that thing. But in everything else, I'm going to make sure that, you know, I meet the standard, right? You know, and I think that's one way, one, you could enjoy school a little bit more, right? But then two, everything is now purpose-based and purpose-driven. You know what I mean? And so this is a big thing, guys, or people, just people who listen. It's a lot easier to accomplish hard work when you have a purpose. And a lot of times students just lack purpose. They don't know what ignites them, excites them, animates them. You know, when we talk about character, and being, knowing, doing, being, character, values, and principles. Being is about knowing what animates you.
Preach.
Right? So when you talk about...
sorry, real quick, Festus. That's a really powerful word you used there. When you said animate, what do you mean by animate?
So when you think about Mickey Mouse, right? When you think about Mickey Mouse as a character, right? You know, he's separate from Goofy. You know what I mean? They all had the little funny voices, but Goofy's voice was so different than Mickey Mouse's voice. So there was something that animated them and made them come alive and jump off the screen in a different way, right? Each of those characters separated them. So what is your animating feature about you? What is the creative drive that wakes you up in the morning? And so many people lack that, right? So what they do is they go from day to day, from problem to problem, from situation to situation, basically taking what life throws at them instead of creating in life, right? And when you have purpose and you have a sense of direction and where you're going, you know, when it's like, yo, the bills are due, or this is happening, or that's happening, it's so much easier to deal with when you understand the bigger purpose for you, right? It might not be that for everybody else, but for you, this is what this means for me. And again, I don't want to soapbox too much. I just remember going through, you know, basic training and being, you know, in the military, and, you know, there was times you get to a duty station, you know, and you're like, this place sucks. This whole thing sucks. These orders suck. Everything about this sucks. But then you think about, like, the bigger reason why I'm serving, you know what I mean? The bigger reason why I'm here. And you think, okay, there's these military orders and there's a date from this date to that, I can make it, you know. And we used to have this saying, and some people in prison might have the saying. they say, you know, 4 more days and a wake up, 4 more months and a wake up, right? So basically you do your time and there's going to be a day where, hey, this is over with. And so as a student, right, sometimes you have to look at that, look at your classes like that, where it's like, look, for this particular class, it's, you know, 3 more weeks or 3 more months or 6 more months and a wake up and I'm done with it. But then the other one, you say, hey, man, this is my purpose. I'm going to do this for the rest of my life. And so I'm so driven to accomplish this particular thing. I'll take, you know, some of the rest of the stuff as well. So yeah, with that, you know, we'll turn it back over to you guys.
Absolutely, absolutely. DeMarc, I want to get your, hey, he's back. He's on the video. He's on the video. All right, welcome back. Boy, technical difficulties, using the knowledge, put the wires together, split splack. Sorry. For those of you who are just hearing, we're able to see. That's why I'm making all that noise. If you can't, you know, from a teacher's perspective, DeMarc, because I was thinking, as Festus was talking, like, one of the big things for the teachers when school starts, and I struggled with this. I remember one year I did all my lesson plans. I did all my lesson plans for a year. No, for the first semester. Sorry, I did all my lesson plans for the first semester. But on the first day, I was still like, I kind of don't know what to do. And so there's this mad rush that teachers do, like a day or two before the first day of school, where they just start like, you got a little packet? Let me get that packet. It's almost like, like low key, like drug deals going on. Like, let me get that packet. Oh, you got a 6-page double side? Okay, with goals and your birthday and your favorite candy? Bet, got it, bet. Good looking. So we print it out on a colorful paper, you know what I mean? How you doing? First day, nice to meet you. Look for your seat, fill out that packet. And then you just got some music on, and then you just looking at them. You testing them out. You're like, all right, this one, he look funny. All right, this one look like Wild Thornberries. He gonna be some trouble. You know what I mean? All right, she look like a little troublemaker. All right, God bless her. You know what I mean? So like, what for you, Jamark, what is an academic goal? And what are some things that, you kind of do in the beginning of the school year to kind of get them ready and thinking about that goal?
So for me, I talk about an academic goal as in, particularly with my students, a short one. We're not talking about at the end of the school year or anything like that. That's long term. So I have them focus on this 9 weeks or whatever weeks the school system in. Ours is particularly 9 weeks. All right, cool. What is your goal for this 9-week? Pick one subject. It doesn't matter which academic subject you choose, but choose an academic subject and come up with a goal. I use the SMART goal rubric basically to help them, guide them. And so I try to encourage them to pick something that they are not good at, that they struggle with, so that I can help them work towards their goal. If they're not a strong reader, or if they're not good in math, or they struggle with the vocabulary in science, whatever that may be, I encourage them to do that, so that throughout our progression of the 9 weeks, we have those data talks and see how it aligns with their goal. Data talks means like when we're taking tests or assignments and anything like that, using their goals, seeing how they do in that particular subject, and have that conversation with them to see if we're on track measuring that goal or not. And they record that in their journals, whatever the subject may be, to see if they on track to that, or if we need to veer them in a right direction, get them back on track towards their goal or whatever. And it also keeps them focused on what they're trying to do, and it helps them motivate them when they may have a moment of low will, just because they're kids, and not just kids but humans. We all have those days where we're not really motivated because of things going on outside of school. So that's what I tend to do.
Oh, that's awesome. Hey, LYS fam, it's Olay. Thanks so much for listening to LYS. I just wanted to take a quick moment to talk to the parents. That's right, mom and dad. Parents, prepare your child for their best educational fit after high school with our comprehensive LYS Parents Guidebook. Our helpful guide includes a range of activities designed to help you better understand your child's unique gifts and abilities. Additionally, we provide valuable insights into the student loan debt crisis and offer practical tips on how to avoid accumulating large amounts of debt. Our ebook also includes a wealth of information on scholarships, grants, and payment exemptions that can help guide your child towards a bright and successful future. With our expert guidance, you can rest assured that your child is well prepared to make informed decisions about their education and career path. Don't let your child's future be in jeopardy. Invest in their future today by downloading the LYS Parents Guidebook. Simply go to lys.com/parents to get your copy today. Now let's get back to the show, because it's some good topics. Yeah, I love the fact that it's like 6 weeks, 9 weeks. That's a big thing that I didn't even think about, that I totally forgot about, is it's very easy to just be like, what's your year-long goal, right? And that's usually the thing that I kind of mess up with when it comes to, like, I use working out for a really good example, because when it's time for me to start working out, I've talked to both of y'all about this. I'll be like, yo, I'm about to start working out. All right, so this is what we're gonna do. I'm gonna run 3 miles, right? And then I'm gonna hit the gym. I'm getting bench, so I'm getting everything. I'm about to get in. What happens that first day? Man, I'm about to sit on this couch, boy. I'm about to go nowhere. Because in my mind, I made this Everest of a hill of things to do. And so what I've learned to say is, all right, I'm going to walk down to the block and I'm going to walk back. Why? Because that's attainable. I know I can do that, right? And so, some people are like that, and then you got like David Goggins, who's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna do this 20 miles." Look, ain't a lot of people built like that. Okay,
You don't know me, son. You don't know me.
Hey, that made me think of the story Festus told me when y'all went working out together, you, him, and somebody else, and you said you was going to the restroom, and it was your set, and they was waiting on you to go to the restroom.
No, buddy, no.
And you walked out the gym.
When I say that is one of the greatest stories ever in the history, man. When I, and the crazy thing is, it's all a matter of perspective. There's three different perspectives. Festus and our boy Clemente, they have one perspective. I have another perspective. At the time, I was just so lazy, so out of shape. And they're like, yeah, man, we're going to be doing this. And I'm like, man, I ain't trying to do any of this, man. I ain't trying to do none of this. And so I remember in my mind, I was like, man, I'm going to the restroom. You know what? In my mind said, hey, just tell them you're going to the restroom. Tell them you're going to, man, I'm going to the restroom. Man. And it was so bad. I was walking out and I was looking at them. And I think Clemente may have been looking at me. I didn't even care. I was like, I was far enough to where they would just look at each other and question. I was like, they're gonna go.
So the funny part is we're looking and we're like, did Olay just leave? We're like, nah, he didn't leave. So we're sitting there talking some more. Like, no, I think that was him. I think he left. We're like, no. And then like 5 minutes later, we're like, man, what's taking this dude? Man, maybe he had to take a dump. We're like, hey, man, call this dude. We call, we hear like the driving in the background. We were like, hey, what's going on?
Hey, it was me and them Westheimer lights. Me and the breeze. They're like, where you at? I was like, man, I'm on my way home, bro. Y'all good? Go ahead, get that workout for me. Oh, man. And that's what I said earlier. I said, shout out to growth, man. Shout out to growth. But that's the thing, right? Is if you're not the best in a particular subject, in a particular grade or a particular class, look, no one's asking you to go from a C to an A. No. Like, we got to get that. We got to get that out of our mind. No one's asking you to become Albert Einstein. No one's asking you to become Stephen Hawking. Just look at yourself. We just want you to get a little bit better. We just want you to change up the plan just a little bit. Whatever you need to do to make it more comfortable, more, what's the word I'm looking for? More relatable to you, do that. Because here's the thing. This is the sad truth. This system that we have right now, it's not really going to go anywhere for a while. As a matter of fact, it's probably only going to get worse, right? So you need these resources, you need the tools, you need the LYSs, you need the be no do of these situations to be able to take that and make it palatable, right? Make it appealing for you so where you can understand it. I'm taking a class right now in physiology. A lot of what they're teaching is super foreign to me, right? But thank God for YouTube. Thank God for these resources that are out there to help me understand these things, right?
And hey, LYS fam, it's Olay. If there's one thing I love, it's something free. I'm talking free 99, un gratis. No shipping or handling fees, no gotcha fees, nothing like that. With that being said, if you're graduating soon or thinking about college or need a nudge or help to decide, then our free ebook, 10 Things to Think About Before Going to College, has a very balanced and open-minded way of presenting your next steps. It captures broad topics in a personal way by giving students an insightful, interactive, and reflective source of inspiration. It is very beneficial to be able to visualize some of the concepts after high school and apply them directly to you. We all know life, college, and career planning decision-making choices for students can be challenging, especially as they near the completion of high school. This book will provide you with a self-paced guide to your success beyond academics and into real life. Not only is it free, you can complete this book within a week. This will definitely prepare you for long-term success. To get your free copy, simply go to lys.com/students. I mentioned it was free, right? Well, if I didn't, it's free. Like, for real, for real. Okay, back to the podcast.
And we kind of talked about it, maybe, well, we didn't talk about it last week, but it's something that we talk about usually in our platform, is what type of learner are you? A lot of times what you're learning is super, super hard, or it's foreign to you because it's just not being taught to you in a way that you can digest, right? Some of you have teachers who just are verbal and they're just going to say it like this, or they're going to write it on the board. But maybe you need pictures. Maybe you need to read it in a particular type of way. What do we say? So there's oral, auditory, there's listening, there's kinesthetic. I'm definitely a kinesthetic. I'm a hands-on. You got to just give me something to let me touch a little bit before I can understand it. So there's so many different things that you can do for yourself to help you learn. As we were talking, I wrote some things down. Just get a Post-it note. Just get a Post-it note. Look at everything you're supposed to learn this year. All right. For those of you entering high school, some of your high school classes, and definitely in college, you're going to be given something called a syllabus, right? That syllabus is going to give you everything that they're going to be teaching you throughout the entire school year. So they're already giving you a leg up, right? They're giving you a leg up. They're giving you a little push. They're giving you assistance, basically. Write down, hey, oh, I know a little bit about this. I know a little bit about that. Look over the syllabus. I have no idea what this is. Go on YouTube. Type it in. I always used to tell my kids in the 5th and 6th grade, I'm trying to meet y'all where y'all at. Y'all spend the majority of your time on YouTube, right? That's one of the first questions I ask them. What YouTuber do you watch? Oh, I watch Shady Bay. If you're listening to this, do not watch Shady Bay. Do not watch Shady Bay. Shady Bay is a trip. All right, that's what I'm saying. Shady Bay is a trip. But or watch it because you're a kid. I can't tell you what to watch. But look, if you're looking for anything having to do with academics, math, science, social studies, math, science, social studies, English, language arts, right? Or any of your elective classes, art, whatever. Type it in, right? If you're learning about abstract art and you have no idea what abstract art is, this background behind me, for those of you who are watching, this is kind of abstract, right? There's no real form or definition to it. Go look up a video and look for the video that has the black check. That's the verified check. That's a check that says this is a verified source. We can say to a certain percentage, to a certain amount of knowledge, that what they're going to give you is factually based, right? And just watch that video and just get an understanding. It's sometimes it's a 3-minute, 2-minute, sometimes it's a 1-minute video. Just get some understanding on it. If you have, like most people, ADD brain, right? Where it's just like, too long, I need to go watch this. TikTok is there. They're outside of the millions and millions of videos that have to do with nothing, that it is complete time wasters. There are some really, really good resources in there with people who are super, super, super passionate about history and know how to tell amazing stories of history and make them, I was going to say, and make them so real, but I didn't want to say that because they are real, but they come alive when they tell these stories about history, these stories about science, or this knowledge about science. It comes alive when you hear these stories, right? I mean, if, for instance, I know in 5th grade, we learned about weather and climate. I think as hot as it is right now, this is a wonderful opportunity to start learning about all the different things, humidity, dew point, high pressure systems, low pressure systems. Why is it hot? What's a heat dome? Why do all these different things. It's so amazing if you can just find tools and resources to help you learn it in a way that's comfortable for you. And this is for anybody, right? Because we teach in low SES communities, right? And where kids think these things aren't pertinent to them. Shut up. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry that I had to say it like that, but shut up. Stop thinking that these things don't pertain to you. You need to stop thinking like that. It totally pertains to you. Actually, it pertains to you so much so that, did you know that in zip codes that have higher incomes, it's actually cooler than it is in areas where there's low income, in zip codes where there's low incomes? Did you know that the temperature is actually higher in areas with low income if you just look up by zip code? So shut up with the narrative of, oh, this has, don't worry about that. Okay, good. when you pass out, okay? And my name is Festus Amoye. No, I'm kidding.
Chill
But
out.
don't think these things are pertinent to you. They are. This is your world. There is so much information that unfortunately it's just given to us, right? It's just given to us in an unappealing form, so we really don't care about it. So we slap it out, right? It's like taking this. I don't want to use this reference. It's like taking a plate found in a trash can and putting the most expensive Wagyu steak on it, right? And just giving it to someone. It's like, ew, what's all that stuff on it, right? Just because your environment isn't
ideal.
I thank you so much. Just because your environment isn't ideal, that doesn't mean that requires you to have less care or to have less input or to make yourself feel like, these things have nothing to do with you. They have so much, if not even more things to do with you, right? Because here's what it boils down to. If you don't have your Beano do intact, if you don't know your values and principles, if you don't know your resources and how to get access to them, if you cannot execute with excellence, someone will come and execute for you. It may not be excellent, but they will execute for you. And usually it's done in a way that you don't like. See, that's where we are right now at 2:59 p.m. Central Time in Houston, Texas, or sorry, in the world. We're in a place where people are really upset with the way people are running things, but people fail to realize that if you came together and you found the things that you all want and you let your voice be heard, you can change your immediate environment. We're so busy saying, oh, it's those folks. Really? It's those folks? What's their name? You can't tell me their name. Oh, what's your name? My name is John. It's you, John. It's you.
It's the they. Who is they?
It's you guys, right? So we're talking about academic success, but the thing is, it balloons into so many other things. This is the beauty of education. And please, I'm so sorry. I feel like my soapbox is out in the middle of the Atlantic. I apologize. I'm gonna come back in. These things are so pertinent. It's very easy for us to say, man, this has nothing to do with it. This has nothing to do with it. But that's the beauty of education, is when you see where these things, where they flow to, how your mind grows. Yesterday, I had the wonderful opportunity to go and do this trash pickup in District J in Houston, right there in Bissonnette. And a couple things kind of made me think. I was passing with one of the stakeholders, and they said, "Oh, they're gonna make a movie about Bissonnette. We're gonna show them. We're gonna show them how to, how we gonna fit, not to mess with us." And I said, yeah. I said, so we had to wait for the movie to come out, right? I remember on Facebook that thing, the tag, the post came about Bissonnette, and everyone's tagging each other. Oh, look, oh, yeah, movie about Bissonnette. Oh, and we all knew driving down Bissonnette, we knew what was happening over there. For those of you who don't know, who are listening from across the world, that was an area that was notoriously known for sex trafficking and violence and a bunch of stuff like that, that in the area. And so, in my mind, the way it was being given to me was everything that was happening in this area, all the good things that are not happening, was because a bad light was shined upon the city because of that. But one of the things that I thought about was, why does it have to take a movie to cause us to want to now take care of our community? And I'm not trying to pass the blame on anyone. The first thing I looked at is I looked at myself. I said, I mean, we could have done, we could have done this, we could have done that. But it's that thing where we've kind of been, our blinders have kind of been blocked. And we've kind of forgotten that in the 40s, in the 50s, and the 60s, where so many people were losing their lives by fighting for these things that they really believed in, that it was a community that came together in one voice to make a difference. And I don't care if you live in an apartment complex, a subdivision with houses, $1 million houses, average prices, below average price homes, in your community, there is so much that can be done.
Hey LYS fam, it's Olay once again. You know, these days, many families are busy but want personalized attention. We at Laddering Your Success understand this dilemma and have created a unique approach to help guide you and your child with personal development tools to build a life of purpose. This intimate approach is helpful for those parents that feel the need to have a focused heart-to-heart conversation deciding on the next steps after high school. We provide individual post-secondary planning, virtual customized college and career counseling, and scholarship guidance and planning. Our one-on-one sessions are tailored to each individual student to maximize their potential in the post-secondary realm. With our guidance, your child will be able to make their dreams a reality. Don't wait. Simply go to lys.com/parents to get your copy today. Now let's get back to business on this podcast.
We're talking about academic goals, but this flows into so many different things. It flows into a much wider umbrella, if I should say. And so let's really, really use this as a springboard to take what we do with our academic goals and use them in other facets of our lives, right? You got community, you've got family, right? Not just your family, but extended family, right? The ideal of goal setting is very, very key. We use it all the time at LYS, and I'm sure you use it too. That's another thing that I want to say. We use it too, but we don't even realize that we use it. We don't realize that we use it. If you just think about that thing that you're super passionate about, if I look back now, I think about football because it was one of the things that brought us together. I think sports and food, I've realized this in the last couple of days. If you get sports, some sort of competitive game or sport and food, boy, let me tell you something, you can take over the world. I really think you, if not take over the world, you could start a movement, a really good movement doing that. Festus, write that down. We're gonna do something with that. We're gonna do something with that soon. But I thought about working out in the morning because I really didn't have a lot of friends early on in high school. And so, I would just be sitting there like, didn't know what to do. So I would just go to the field house and I lift weights. And I remembered I could only do like 225 was my max. So for those of you who don't know, that's two of the big plates, 245s on each side, right? So I'm going every day with a couple of the guys we working out. And there was this one guy who was just built in high school. He didn't play football. He just liked lifting weights. And so I remember in a couple of weeks, my max went from 225 to 275. So that's 245s and a 25. And I remember lifting it up and I was like, that's just from, I would get to school at like 6:45. So from 6:45 to 7:15, 7:20, I'd be, what is that? About 30 minutes? It's about 30, 35 minutes. Just doing that for a couple of weeks brought my max up by 50 pounds. So just think about the thing that you're passionate about and just think about a little bit of effort that you put into it and the outcome that you had from it. Folks, that's how you begin this process of not just academic goal setting, social goal setting, cultural goal setting, vocational goal setting, spiritual goal setting, health goal setting, all the different 7 chapters and facets of LYS. That's how you do that. You be no do. Improve on your values and principles. Who's around you? What do they believe? Do we believe in the same thing? They're always going out wilding in these streets. They're gonna make fun of me. Yeah, it is what it is. I can't be doing that. What are the resources around me? Folks, I don't think we realize if you live, and we spend a lot of our time in A-League, but wherever you are, I can almost guarantee you, at least if you are in the United States of America, there is a resource that has abundant beneficial impact that's very near to you that you don't even know about right now. And the reason why you don't know about it is because you haven't looked for it or no one's told you about it. So don't be afraid to go out there and make that search and go look for that out there. Are in the do portion, are you executing with excellence? Not just executing. Anybody can execute. Anybody can execute. Well, most people can execute, right? But can you execute with excellence? That is what's going to separate you. That's what's going to set you apart from other people. I've seen it happen in so many of my close friends' lives where there are so many people who do a particular thing, but because of the way that a particular person does it or something about them, that person will get chosen. That person will get selected. And it's usually the person who's working in their purpose. It's usually the person who's working in something that they're passionate about and they can feel it. They may charge the most. Hey, who's that person that does that? I don't know what it is, but I like it. And the beautiful thing about it is you will see people going out of their way. If it's distance, if it's cost, if it's the prereqs, the things that are required for you for this thing, people will go out of their way just to be a part of what you're doing, just because of the fact that it's you that's doing it. Folks, you got to find your purpose. Got to find your purpose. This is how these things get started, right? Festus, I'm sorry. I'm gonna put my thing on mute. Anything you want to say, drop, go ahead, drop it.
Well, I think we will maybe give some practicals and then that way we could wrap up. And so I think, just kind of recapping some of the things we discussed. If you don't have a goal setting strategy, SMART goal setting is a good strategy to apply. And we talked about having goals that are long-term, but also breaking them down into shorter periods, right? So for example, if you want to get an A this semester, that's your goal, is I want to get an A. Well, then the real short-term goal is to get an A on each assignment, right? So if I get an A on each assignment, then I'm going to eventually get an A finally for the grade for the semester because of the short-term goal that I chose. And I think that's one thing that we need to really make sure we're doing is choosing the right short-term goals for our long-term goal, what we want to accomplish overall, right? Is to say, hey, today I'm going to do my best at blank, right? And just carpe diem, just seize the day, just seize the opportunity to do well in the one or two things that you could get accomplished that day, right? And then it'll have a snowball effect to eventually get you to where you want to go. And as passionately as Olay shared, he shared just a ton of valuable nuggets in terms of like how that plays out to winning in society later, right? So often we talk about, quote unquote, the system, right? And then, sometimes we talk about the system and then we talk about, what's the word I'm looking for? Exemptions to the system. And then we kind of point at that person and say, well, you didn't have X, Y, or they had X, Y, or Z advantage, right? And so one thing I've found is that oftentimes when people are really struggling to ascend, right? When they're really struggling to ascend, they don't want to give other people who are in their similar situation props for ascending because of what it says about them. And so you kind of want to get over that, right? Oh man, Johnny did well because Johnny's grandma cheered him on. My grandma didn't cheer me on. But what about the people who did cheer you on? You know what I mean? Well, nobody cheered me on. So you're telling me you're doing well and nobody said, hey man, I see you. That's a great job. Hey, keep it up. Not even in a general sense, like the teacher just didn't walk in the classroom and say, hey, y'all are doing a good job today. You're included in that y'all, right? So these are things we have to keep in mind. And finally, people who have been able to execute, a major reason why you want to have academic goal set is so that you can execute consistently again and again. You want to be able to repeat results. You want to R&R, repeat results.
Talk about that discipline, man. That's powerful. Yeah.
Yeah. So and again, we're going to kind of close out with this is that as a student, you might have succeeded in middle school. You might even succeed well in high school, but maybe now you're hitting your freshman year. And statistically speaking, everybody's grade drops by one grade level. So if you're an A student in high school, you're probably going to be a B or C student in college. And that is with effort. That is not going to be by default.
Yeah.
And so there's so many kids, especially those who are coming out of inner cities, where the schools aren't as academically challenging and people don't have time to focus on your work. And then, you go to, a PWI or even a HBCU, and now it's like, man, I'm a, maybe you felt like I'm a big fish in a small pond at first, and then you get somewhere else, and now you're a small fish in a big pond, you know? And so, you know, these are things to just keep in mind as you ladder your success. So with that being said, we're going to kind of close out. Olay, anything else?
No, I think I've said enough.
he's like, I ruined the episode. Yeah. So listen, look, we thank you so much for listening, for watching. Hit that like button, hit that share button, but especially hit the follow button, especially if you're one of those people who's listening to this podcast later, hit that follow button, right? Hit that subscribe button, right? If you're watching on YouTube, hit the subscribe button, because it helps us out to create more content, right? That's the least you could do. Otherwise, you can hit that Cash App. You know what I'm saying? Hit the Cash App. Hit the Cash App. Oh, that's my Dave Chappelle day. Anyway, so listen, there are legitimate reasons for not going to college. There's no legitimate reason for not getting an education. My name's Festus Amoye. His name is Olay Shorunke. And we're going to see you on the next episode of Edgy Steps by Laddering Success.
You shall be blessed now.
Oh, you still there? Well, thank you so much for listening to the LYS podcast.